So another day, another vlog, let's give this another go. Today I'm going to answer some of the questions that you've been asking me on social media and YouTube whilst making some wax melts and some bath bombs and a complete mess. Yeah, so let's get to it. So this is my setup for today. That's to film the main shop, but then what I'm going to try and do with these wax melts is film them from underneath. This is like a perspex display thing, and I'm trying to make it as level as possible, and then I'll put my iPhone underneath and film up and see if I can capture the filling process that way. So yeah, let's give it a go. So let's get on with some questions while I do all these tasks for the day. You can watch me make wax melts and a huge mess. So one of the questions I got asked was, can you recommend a minimal ingredients list other than butters and oils to invest in terms of emulsifiers and thickeners, etc. If the intent is for self and family skincare products, making primarily and then growing into a small business? Yes, I can. So some emulsifiers to give you options. Start with an all-in-one emulsifier, and you can build your knowledge from there. If you're making emulsified scrubs, then emulsifying wax, INCI cetyl alcohol Cetirith 20 is quite a good option. That will also work in lotions and creams for you. If you want an EcoCert emulsifier, then go for EcoMulse, otherwise known as Retamulse in the US. You'll be able to make some really nice creams and lotions with that. You can also do scrubs and things. My absolute favourite though is BTMS 50. This is actually a cationic emulsifier, which means it's super conditioning. It's really great for solid conditioners, liquid hair conditioners, lotions, and also hand and body creams. Particularly in hand and body creams, I really love using it. So that's one I'd recommend. In terms of thickeners and stabilisers, then the three I'd start with would be cetyl alcohol, cetyl alcohol and steric acid. Use cetyl alcohol to thicken products and to condition skin and hair. It's a single compound fatty alcohol. Cetyl alcohol combines cetyl alcohol with stearyl alcohol, and it acts as both a thickener but not to the same degree as cetyl alcohol does alone, and an emulsion stabiliser. It leaves a beautiful powdery silk-like feeling on the skin. I quite like pairing that with BTMS 50, and then you end up with a really beautiful cream. Steric acid is another fatty alcohol that thickens, and it also hardens a product to a degree whilst softening the skin. It's a really great addition to scrubs to firm them up rather, and condition the skin. It can be added to makeup products such as eyeliner and lipstick, and it also helps the stability as it helps to stop separation. So having those three options of each will give you plenty to get started with making skincare. Then you can include your chosen oils, butters, waters, humectants and actives as you need them. For my recommended preservatives, you can see the video that I did previously. I'll link that above. If you want info on where I get these products I've mentioned, then check the description because I've linked them all below. So next question was, how did I start my business and get into formulating? Well, I actually have a video on this already, which I will link above or below or somewhere, that kind of explains my journey to now. I used to run a hair extension supply business, primarily for braiding hair, and also do extensions. I do still do hair extensions as a service. I ran that business for years until Brexit happened, and that had a detrimental effect on currency, and because we were buying from abroad it meant that we had to rejig a bit, and you have to be sensible in business, and if something isn't making you any profit, there's really no point in doing it. So we kind of dissolved that. I've been formulating for quite a long time. I just did it for myself because I was interested, and I sort of found a need for people needing information on regulations and how to actually make this stuff. And I thought, well, maybe I can teach this. I am actually a qualified teacher, so yeah, I thought I'd give that a go. Found YouTube, even though I'm painfully shy and don't like being on camera. But I do like teaching people, so I decided to sort of share my knowledge, and it's just kind of gone from there, really. But yeah, I did have a lot of background in retail and hair extension training and management and things like that, so that's helped a lot. If you want the full story, then do go and check out the video I've linked, because that gives you a lot more information than I just have now. So next question was, where is the best place to sell? Etsy, or should I get my own website? Right, well, in my honest opinion, both have their own place, and definitely do both if you want to, but I'd always have my own website. That way you are 100% covered if a third-party marketplace changes their rules, stops you selling, drops your ranking, etc. Yes, you need to drive traffic to your own website, but you are in complete control, and the only fees you pay are going to be to the payment providers and obviously the website hosting. I say this because I used to have a store with a third-party provider, which I'm not going to name, and I got a low rating one day because of a postal strike and items not arriving on time. Completely out of my control, but the customer felt the need to leave me a bad review for this, which knocked my ranking down, and within about 24 hours all of my listings on that website were no longer at the top where they were before, but my seller rating had dropped to below standard, and they didn't show anymore, and I literally went from making a full-time income to making zero overnight. And that is why I'd say always have your own website, because if you put all your eggs in one basket, you are opening yourself up to trouble like that. What I'd recommend is Shopify. I use it myself, so I genuinely recommend it. I have a link below if you want to trial it. It's such a good option. It's so easy to use for someone that has no coding knowledge. Straight out the box, anything you want it to do can either be done with the templates, or you can add on apps. It integrates with almost everything, and Shopify support are so helpful. I think what I'll probably do is a video on how to set up a Shopify store, because I think it'd be really helpful, especially if you're a cosmetics business. It tracks inventory, it does everything. It's absolutely brilliant, and I don't know how I lived without it for so many years, because things like this didn't exist when I started my first business. So it's literally so easy for people now, it really is, and yeah, I highly recommend it. Links below if you want to try a free trial, and then perhaps you could follow along with the video that I do shortly, showing you how to set up your own website on Shopify. Then I've had a load of questions asking for different formulas. I'm not going to get into that here because I have added them to the list, and I will be making formulation videos for you for the most popular ones and any that take my fancy, so don't worry, they are coming. Someone's asked where I get my labels printed. So I actually have mine professionally designed and printed by a particular company. I'm not actually going to share that, sorry, because I do use them for my own brand. However, if you want to print your own, which I know a lot of people are asking about, I do recommend Avery. They have lots of blank labels that you can buy to print your own. They also have a design service, so you can actually design from within Avery and print them from within there, and I think they also print as well for you. They are very good quality, and they have lots of different types of paper, so that's who I'd recommend for that. If you want your own custom labels printed and designed in a kind of way that you can't get on Avery, then just look on Etsy, because there are loads and loads and loads of options there of people that offer that. The next question is quite appropriate because we're making bath bombs. They've asked, how do I make my bath bombs hard? They always crumble. Right, I'd say it sounds counterproductive, because you'd think, oh no, it'll activate things. Water. Add water to your mixture, and you will end up with really, really hard, really strong bath bombs. My tip for that would be to add it to your oil wet ingredients phase, but add the oils first and then pour the water on top of them, and that way you avoid activation. And of course always add your citric last, and then you'll avoid that issue. And the last question I'm going to answer in this vlog, because it's already getting a bit long, is how do you record inventory when you have lots of different ingredients? So this can get a bit complicated, and I did originally have an Excel spreadsheet. However, since then I have found some software called CraftyBase. I haven't signed up to them yet, but I fully intend to. I've been asking them a lot of questions. And basically what they do is they will allow you to input all of your ingredients from all of your receipts, and then allocate those ingredients to a recipe. And then you allocate that recipe to a product, and then every time you sell a product on your website, it will update your ingredient inventory based on what it's linked to. So it's really quite handy, and it also seems to help you work out your pricing very well. So I'm liking that so far. I will give an update once I start using it and let you know if it works for me, but so far I think that's what I'm going to go for. In terms of tracking your inventory of products, then again I'm going to recommend Shopify, because if you have a site like Shopify, you can input your inventory. You can also allocate a cost value to that inventory, which is quite handy. And I think there's an app that you can integrate. I think it was called Fresher app. But what that did was allow you to associate use by dates with your inventory, and then it would give you an alert if one of your products was close to the use by date. You could set when that was, which means that you can create promotions and make sure that you sell through your products at the correct rate. So that might be worth looking into. Like I said, there's a Shopify link below if you want to look at the trial. You can then also look at the App Store and see what connects, because there's so many things you can do with it. So yeah, for inventory, that's kind of the combo that I'd suggest, I think. I think I'm going to leave the vlog there. I'm going to end it a bit differently today, because we actually set up a trail camera in our garden, because we have a family of foxes. Now you'll either be a fox lover or a fox hater. If you're a fox hater, you might want to end the video here. I really love them. They're really lovely, and we've had them in the garden every year consistently since we've been here. And I did decide to get a trail camera to film them the last few years. So this is what I caught the other night. There are a few cameos by a few birds and my cat, but I'm going to stop talking and leave you with that as a little bit of ASMR to finish this video for sort of nature mental health reasons. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. And please don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this content, and if you have any questions for the next one, then leave them below. See you next time.